Some songs tell a story in just a few minutes, but the story they tell isn't always the whole story. It's just a snapshot, a single moment of pain or joy frozen in time. The real story, the one that leads up to that moment, is often longer. And it's often more complicated. This is one of those songs. On the surface, it's a simple tune. It's got a driving beat. You can dance to it. But the words tell a different tale. They tell of betrayal. The worst kind. The kind that comes from your best friend. The kind that involves the woman you love. The song is the sound of a heart breaking in real time, set to a beat that makes you want to tap your feet. That contrast is what makes it so powerful. It's a sad story dressed up for a party. The story doesn't start with the song, though. It starts long before. It starts with a guy. A regular guy. Not a hero, not a movie star. Just a man who was probably a little lonely. Maybe he worked a job he didn't love. Maybe he came home to an empty apartment every night. He had friends, sure. But there was a piece of him that felt incomplete. We've all been there. That feeling that there's someone out there for you, but you just haven't found them yet. He had one friend who was closer than the others. A best friend. The kind of friend you tell everything to. The kind you can call at 3 in the morning. They probably grew up together, or met in the service, or just found each other in the grind of daily life. Their friendship was a constant. It was solid. It was the one thing he could always count on. When things were bad, his friend was there. When things were good, his friend was there to celebrate with him. It was a simple, honest friendship between two men. A brotherhood. And then one day, everything changed. He met her. It probably happened in a way that felt like magic. Maybe he saw her across a crowded room. Maybe they bumped into each other on the street. However, it happened. It was instant. She had a smile that could stop traffic. She had a laugh that made him forget all his troubles. When he talked to her, he felt like he was the only person in the world. For the first time in a long time, that empty space inside him started to feel full. Their first few weeks were a blur of happiness. Late night talks on the phone, and walks in the park. Holding hands at the movies, he felt a kind of joy he didn't know was possible. Where he was walking on air. He would tell his best friend all about her. He'd go on and on about how wonderful she was, how perfect they were together. And his friend would listen, he'd smile and nod and say he was happy for him. And he probably was. At first, the man in the song, the narrator, he was so in love. He thought this was it. This was the woman he was going to spend the rest of his life with. He couldn't imagine his life without her, and because he was so happy, he wanted to share that happiness. He wanted the two most important people in his life to meet. He wanted his best friend to see how amazing she was. He wanted her to see what a great guy his friend was. It seemed like the most natural thing in the world. So he arranged it. A casual meeting. Maybe they went out for a drink, or maybe he brought her over to his friend's place. He was so proud, he stood there beaming as he said the words, this is my best friend, and this is the woman I love. He probably didn't notice it at first. The way their eyes met for just a second too long. The way the conversation seemed to flow so easily between them, almost leaving him out. He was so blinded by his own happiness that he couldn't see the little signs. He was just thrilled that they were getting along. He thought, this is perfect. My two favorite people like each other. He had no idea what he had just set in motion. He had no idea he had just lit a fuse. The tragic story isn't just his, it's hers too. Who was this woman? The song paints her as a heartbreaker, a flame that burns one man and then moves to the next. But maybe it wasn't that simple. Maybe she liked the first guy. Maybe she even thought she loved him. He was kind, he was sweet, he treated her well, but maybe there was something missing. A spark, a connection that went deeper. And maybe when she met his friend, she found it. It wasn't something she planned, it wasn't malicious, it was just a feeling. A chemical reaction she couldn't control. When she looked at the friend, she saw something that resonated with her in a way the first man never could. Maybe he was funnier, maybe he was more confident, or maybe it was just one of those unexplainable things. They just clicked. So now she had a choice. A terrible, tragic choice. She could stay with the good man who loved her and live a life feeling like something was missing. Or she could follow her heart, a heart that was pulling her towards his best friend. And in doing so, she would have to break one heart and shatter a friendship that had lasted for years. Her tragedy is that there was no way to win. Either she would be unhappy, or she would cause immense pain to someone who had only ever shown her kindness. That's a heavy burden to carry. She wasn't necessarily a bad person, she was just a human being caught in an impossible situation. A situation created by a single, innocent introduction. After that first meeting, things started to change, slowly at first. The narrator probably didn't even notice. Maybe she was a little more distant on the phone. Maybe she was busy a few more nights a week than usual. He would make excuses for her. She's just tired from work. She's having a tough week. He trusted her, and he trusted his friend. It would never have crossed his mind to suspect them, but the little things started to add up. A strange comment here. An inside joke between the two of them that he didn't understand there. A feeling of being the third wheel when all three of them were together. He started to feel a small, cold knot of dread in his stomach, but he would push it down. He would tell himself he was being paranoid. He was just insecure. Why would his best friend ever do that to him? Why would the woman who said she loved him ever lie? Then came the day he couldn't ignore it anymore. The song tells us exactly what happened. It's a scene that plays out in slow motion in his memory over and over again. He was probably just walking down the street, minding his own business. Maybe he was on his way home from work, thinking about her, a smile on his face, and then he saw them. He saw them walking, just the two of them. They were close together, be too close. He saw them talking. They were leaning in, whispering. He saw her laugh. It was the same laugh that used to make his heart leap. Now, it made his stomach turn. His first instinct was probably denial. It's nothing. They just ran into each other. But he kept watching. He couldn't look away. He felt frozen to the spot. And then he saw it. The final, undeniable proof. He saw them kiss. It wasn't a friendly peck on the cheek. It was a real kiss. A kiss full of passion and secrets. And in that one moment, his entire world collapsed. The happiness he had felt, the trust he had placed in them, the future he had imagined, it all turned to dust. The song captures the aftermath of that moment. It's not a song about anger or revenge. It's a song about shock and disbelief. He's not shouting, he's not crying, he's just numbly repeating the facts to himself as if trying to make them real. A very old friend of mine came and stole my love from me. It's so simple. So direct, so devastating. The tragedy is layered. There's the obvious tragedy of the man who lost his girlfriend and his best friend in one fell swoop. He is now completely alone. The two people he trusted most in the world have betrayed him together. He's left with nothing but the image of them kissing burned into his brain. He has to walk around with that knowledge every day. He has to hear her name and feel a stab of pain. Then there's the tragedy of the friend. He didn't just gain a girlfriend, he lost a brother. He will have to live with the knowledge that he betrayed the one person who always had his back. Can he ever be truly happy with her knowing the cost? Every time he looks at her, he might be reminded of the friend he threw away. Their relationship is built on the ruins of another one. That's a shaky foundation for a future. And then there's her story. The woman at the center of it all, she followed her heart, but she left a trail of destruction behind her. She might be in love, but that love is tainted by guilt. She hurt a good man. She destroyed a friendship. Is it possible for her to find pure joy in a relationship that started with such deceit? Every time she hears a certain song on the radio or walks past a certain street corner, she'll be reminded of what she did. Her name, which once meant love to one man, now means pain. The song itself is a masterpiece of emotional dissonance. The music is upbeat, with a driving rhythm that feels like a train rolling down the tracks. It's relentless. It doesn't stop to let you breathe. It just keeps pushing forward. This is the sound of the man's mind racing. He can't stop thinking about it. The thoughts are just coming, one after another, unstoppable. The catchy da-da-da-da-dum-dum riff is like a nervous tick, a thought he can't get out of his head. But the lyrics are pure sorrow. Pain and tears, oh, I've had my share. He's a man who has been completely hollowed out. He's not even angry enough to fight. He's just defeated. The contrast between the happy-sounding music and the devastating words is what makes the song so haunting. It's the sound of someone trying to put on a brave face while their world is falling apart. It's the smile you force at a party when all you want to do is go home and cry. He sings that while he's smiling, he's crying on the inside. That's the key to the whole story. He's putting on a performance of being okay. The upbeat music is his mask, but behind the mask, he is drowning in sadness. He is a ghost at his own party. The tragedy behind the woman in the song is not just that she left him. Right? It's that she took everything with her. She took his happiness. She took his trust in other people. And she took his best friend. She didn't just break his heart, she broke his life. And he's left to pick up the pieces with a song stuck in his head. A song with a beat you can't forget and a story he'll never be able to escape. He'll hear her name in his head for the rest of his life, not as a sweet melody, but as a reminder of the day he lost everything. It's a simple name. A beautiful name. But for him, it will always be the name of his greatest sorrow. The song is called Mari's the Name His Latest Flame.